Good. So excited to have you all here today. We have a very, very special webinar planned for you, and I can't wait to get into it. I think you're going to get a ton of value from this, and we're super excited. Let me share my screen again. And if in the chat, if you just want to pop in there and let us know where you're zooming in from, that would be great. It's also good to make sure that the chat's working. Awesome. New York City, welcome, Jeff. Massachusetts, LA, we're all over. I love it. Turkey, Denver, Cindy, hi. Sacramento, amazing. So excited to have you all here today. So to give you a quick rundown of what this is going to look like, I'm going to do a quick intro, an icebreaker, quick story about how AI has really turned into my marketing assistant. And I'm going to share the different ways that I have found it so valuable in my work and in my students' work. And so I'm going to take about the first 15 minutes to go through all of these things. And then we're going to have the CEO of Tallarian, Stan, join us and go over how to basically set this process on fire and explain what it is that allows you to level up within GPT for work, which is what we'll be kind of demonstrating today. So super excited to have Stan with us today. Really looking forward to this. Real quick background on me, I have been machine learning obsessed since 2014 when I kind of hacked my way into Harvard's CS 109 data science course on GitHub. They actually still have all of the lectures in this repo and homework and things that really got me hooked on this industry. And I truly believe it takes one good machine learning course to really just get your feet wet and get you started to explore, all of the incredible opportunities that are really available to you through this technology. So highly recommend checking that out. More recently, I worked at Hugging Face, an AI startup, and helped quarterback the launch of the world's largest multilingual language model called Bloom. That's kind of a fun fact. So as we start to get into this, I want to ask all of you, how many things are you not doing because you don't have time? This is a conversation that we have a lot in my actionable AI course with marketers and SEOs is, I wish I could be doing e-blasts or better website analytics or maybe better distribution for content marketing, but we don't have the bandwidth. We simply don't have the bandwidth. We don't have the time, right? What are some of the things that you feel like you could explore if you had a little bit more time? Because this has been sort of my evolution and experience. So I used to spend hours and hours manually and analyzing customer reviews, brainstorming content ideas, sorting through online reviews and forum data like Reddit. And the solution has really come about through these large language models, right? And so the fact that Google Sheets can be transformed into an AI-powered marketing assistant without you writing a single line of code is incredibly valuable. That friction to using AI continues to decrease because there's incredible tools like what we'll go over today that bring this technology into the applications that you live, breathe, work within all the time. And so I love, highly recommending to automate those high impact marketing tasks. So quickly generating some content ideas from keywords, categorizing a list of web pages or keywords within just seconds, converting customer feedback into prioritized product improvements, right? We all sit on top of all of this data and usually just don't have the means to extract insights from it in the way that we really should be doing. So that's what we're going to dive into today. Super excited. The old way is quite manual. I remember working at Moz and we used to, I used to label search intents word by word going through these keyword lists. And now I use GPT for work to do that. And I also want to give a quick shout out to what we'll be demoing today in terms of this tool, because I had previously tried to teach students a number of different ways to integrate this technology into Sheets, into Google Docs, but it requires technical knowledge, right? And so the fact that you can add this extension and start using it without touching code has been incredibly valuable to so many of the students within my courses. So really excited to kind of dive into that. And then last thing before we jump in, highly recommend, consider your common tasks. The demos that you're going to see today might not transfer one-to-one to what you work on day in and day out, and that's okay. But use this as inspiration, right? As sparking ideas on how you could do something that you see us demo today for what you work in and day out, right? Use these as sort of ideas. All right, you are welcome to make your own copy of the sheet I've put together today. I'm going to jump right in. So first of all, you'll have to have this extension. So it's GPT for Sheets and Docs. I already have this open. You see it here. And you will add an API key for OpenAI. This is typically the first step I'll walk students through is, grab your OpenAI key from OpenAI, add it into here, and then make sure that you have some credits to get you going. And I tell you what, and I know Stan will probably have more to say about this, but these credits last a really long time, and I'm using this constantly. So it's really nice. And I believe there's some free credits to start with as well, so you can start using it now. All right, so picture this. We are analyzing a large list of keywords, and we want to get that search intent. We can use AI to help support this effort. It might not be picture perfect, right? But labeling search intent isn't perfect. There's often multi-intents, right? Different things going on, but to at least get some traction as far as what are the search intents of most of these keywords, right? What does that look like? And so to make this tool start to kind of go to work for you, you just equal GPT, and then within quotes will be our prompt. And a lot of people tend to overthink this. Just have fun, try testing stuff. So I would say something like label the likely search intent of this keyword. And I'm going to say transactional, informational, commercial, or local. And then I'm just going to reference, so end quotes, comma, reference the keyword, and let's see how it does. And this is a list of really silly bird keywords. So once I think that looks pretty good, I can double click this and it will pull it down my entire list of keywords, which is so, so nice. I use that a lot. And we'll see it start to populate here. So we're seeing commercial, bird-themed clothing, that feels right. Oh, cool. Bird calendars, transactional, that also, that feels really spot on to me. Bird feeders, commercial. You can see it's doing a really great job, right? Again, this might not be 100% perfect, but the fact that within just a couple of seconds, we can label all of these is pretty incredible. So, if you're unable to do this at scale, this is a great way to start to, accelerate your process and support you. I love that. Tim, yeah, don't expect perfection, but instead direction. Yeah, my recent motto has also been imperfect action, right? So let's do blog post ideas from the keyword. So equal GPT, and then I'll just say something really simple like generate a blog post idea to target the keyword. And this prompt is kind of a continuation because I'm referencing that A2 cell here, right? So, oh, I think I messed up. Let's try it again. Generate a blog post idea to target keyword A2. Yeah, so talking about the satirical conspiracy theory, that looks great. You know, in SEOs, we're also very drawn to questions, right? You'll see a lot of SEO and marketing presentations around what are your FAQ pages doing? Are they supporting your traffic? Are they bringing, you know, different things in? You can kind of level all of this up, and I have several clients using this where let's say now we have some rough blog post ideas. Let's generate a list of questions to include in each of these blog posts. So there's different functions within this plugin, and one of my favorites is GPT_H list. And what you can do here is say something like generate popular questions we can address about this topic. And then I'm going to reference the blog post, so D2. And what it's going to do is it is going to populate these columns with relevant questions. So what is the purpose or goal behind Birds Aren't Real? How do supporters of Birds Aren't Real movement spread their message? What are the main claims of the Birds Aren't Real theory? You know, these are great. These are great start as to how we could start to incorporate some FAQ content within this post targeting our keyword. And again, we can drag this down and it'll populate questions for all of these posts. So again, it's just kind of accelerating the workflow. I always highly recommend to having a human in the loop. We wouldn't want to like set this and have it hit publish right away, or we want someone in the loop making sure that this is high quality, making sure that we're adding some of that EEAT that we hear everyone talk about all of the time. So, but again, like in terms of how we used to do things, this is pretty mental, right? We have really been able to level up our skills quickly with this technology. There's so many cool applications as well. So let's say we have all of these Reddit mentions about water bottles. This was kind of inspired by the Reddit lightning lesson I did where I pulled all of this. But let's say, you know, we want to know what specific product elements in the post is talking negatively about, or positively, talking positively about, only output the specific words, nothing else. A2. So we can take, you know, massive list of posts about the topic that we care about, the service that we care about or are doing work for, and we can very, very quickly get some incredible insights from online forums, from Reddit, doing all these things, right? So if this example is supporting the idea of, you know, if I wanted to start a water bottle company, what are all the positive things people are talking about in terms of this product? Similarly, what are all the negative things that people are talking about when it comes to water bottles? What do we want to avoid? So same prompt, I'm just using negatively. So now all of a sudden we see, you know, expensive, this person likes the wide mouth, eco-friendly, slim. And then we can start to do some really, really interesting things. I know I'm like already running out of time. There's so much I want to show you. You can also draft up like ideas to respond or to reach out to these people. So again, if I'm starting a water bottle company, I might want to reach out to people complaining about their water bottles with something like this. What specific product elements is the review talking negative? Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. Here. Draft a response idea to this person on Reddit, letting them know you are creating the perfect water bottle and would love to send them one for free. In terms of marketing, you can get so creative with this stuff, right? You can really start to have fun and think of ways that we could craft something interesting to, respond to this person. We can also very quickly extract the brands that are mentioned at scale. So what are people talking about in terms of brands of water bottle? Identify any water bottle brand mentioned in the output and only output the name, right? And I've played around with some of these. The first time you enter some of the prompts, they're not going to be exactly what you want, right? You have to come back and get real specific about, only outputting the name. It's a trial and error kind of experience. There's so many things. I want to make sure Stan has enough time, so let me skip just real quick to title and meta. I did a crawl of the Birds Aren't Real website, and we could very easily, write them some new and improved titles by just saying something like, improve the following title tag for SEO and user engagement. B2. But you start to get the idea. You can do a lot of this stuff very quickly and go from 0 to 1 faster than ever before, in my opinion. 46. All right, I want to show one more thing here. So obviously we can do that for meta descriptions. I love extracting products out of product descriptions. You can quickly categorize massive lists of product descriptions. I had a student recently do this for the e-commerce site that they work on with incredible results that they ended up using. But you can also do some really powerful data enrichment stuff. So in terms of the Fortune 500 companies, we could come in here and just quickly add to our, data set here, something like, hey, industry that the following company is in. And one of my very favorite things is the new function equals GPT_web, where it's going to do a web search. So I'm going to say CEO of, and then A2. Pretty incredible. So again, in terms of doing research or, improving data sets, you can do lots of really, really powerful things, but play around with this spreadsheet. I know I shared the link to this spreadsheet, and Stan's gonna set all this on fire, but look at this. Very quickly, we get all this data. It's pretty incredible. All right, so Stan Marion is the CEO of Tallarian. Tallarian is a software company that makes super simple, basic, powerful software products for Google Workspace and Microsoft Office, based on the brilliant observation that spreadsheets really are eternal and absolutely everywhere. And before GPT for Work, Tallarian's greatest hits were some of the things you see here: yet another mail merge, awesome table, form publisher. These are doing really powerful things for marketers like yourselves, right? Easily automate document workflows from Google Forms. Awesome Table imports data from business tools to Google Sheets, and you can easily display that in a website. It's incredible. And then in total, Tallarian's products have been installed by more than 60 million users, which is insane, with an average rating of 4.7 out of 5 across 25,000 reviews. Tallarian has around 40 employees and has been profitable since its creation in 2015. It's privately held and is ISO 27001 certified. I had to look up what that means, and it means it's very secure. I learned a lot today. It follows, it has high security regulation baked into it. So really, really exciting to have Stan with us today. I'm gonna hand it over to him to show you all how to take this to the next level.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Brittany, for this amazing demo presentation introduction. Honestly, you could have gone on. It was already fire. Don't need me. But I'm really happy to show you a few more things. Um, I guess I'll jump straight into more demos. There's just one question I think that was asked in the chat by Kaylee Hope, which was how long of a prompt is this able to handle? Are we able to plug in and record topics, goals, audience insights via prompts, or will it break? So the short answer is yes, you can plug quite a long prompt. I'll show you how. And you can either put it in the spreadsheet or in a specific dedicated place. In the spreadsheet, there is just a 50,000 characters limit per cell. That's the main limit that you have to be careful about. But 50,000 characters is quite a lot. It's roughly 10,000 words, so should be fine in English at least. All right, let me share my screen. And please, if you have other questions, do please ask them. I'll try to answer them. So, all right, sharing. Okay, can you see my screen? All right. Yes. All right. So yeah, very quickly, again, GPT for Work brings all the top AIs. We don't make a choice for you. You can choose into Google Workspace or Microsoft Office spreadsheets and documents specifically. We don't do slides yet. Um, the reason why you would want to use it is, as Brittany showed, is it's fast. It can do bulk prompts into spreadsheets, and you can control the prompts and the models that you use very precisely, which you cannot do in Gemini, for example, or in Copilot on Microsoft. And also, yeah, we're pretty much enterprise ready with the ISO certification and all those things. So let me now go back to a spreadsheet. So the first thing I want to show you, actually, let me move this around. Uh, so I want to just clarify one thing, Brittany, is if you want to use your API key, first of all, you do not have to use an API key. I know a lot of people do not have an OpenAI console, or they can just use models that do not require an API key. Okay, that's I think important to start. You don't need to. And if you want to use yours, you can set it here in the API key screen, and then you have to choose a model with the little key icon here. Just making sure this will be less expensive than if you choose a model without an API key. All right. Then the other thing is, so if you want to set some special instructions, well, you can in several places. I guess the easiest is in that tab here. You can go to spreadsheet settings, and here in custom behavior, you can put all the guidelines, brand guidelines, insights, and specific facts that you want the AI to use, and it will be used, and this will be shared across your spreadsheets. Okay. So let's get back to it. So what Brittany showed is how to use all these little. Is it big enough? Not sure.
If you could
Can't
make it a
zoom for
little
some
bit
reason.
bigger, that would be great, but
Yeah,
thank you.
for some reason I cannot zoom. I don't
Oh,
know
weird.
why. Oh, there we go. It's just yeah. Sorry. All right, maybe that's too big. Is that fine like that?
Perfect. Perfect.
All
Thank you.
right. So indeed, the functions where you can find the list here, or when you type equal here, GPT is the main one. Then you have a bunch of others. But if you're not very comfortable with these functions, which can happen, you can use what we call bulk AI tools, which allow you to prompt without functions. So let me show you. I've copied, stolen Brittany's keyword list here, and you can click on custom prompt and basically just copy paste in a prompt here and here. You have to set your header row correctly so that the keyword header here will be recognized. Spreadsheets sometimes do not start at the first row. I know people love to display their data in many different ways. So we have this setting that you can tweak. And this here is a little keyword, which you can easily add, by the way, either by typing it or via this little drop down here. Will be replaced row by row by the value of the column. Okay, so the first one will be birds aren't real and sent to the AI. You have to choose your results column, which in this case will be Google search ads headlines. Okay, so my prompt here is to generate a single Google search ads headline based on the following keyword. With these constraints, maximum 30 characters, must be catchy and relevant, and should encourage the user to click. Okay, I'll close this. One thing you can do here is you can just run 3 rows first, just to check, as Brittany said, you will have to experiment with your prompts, just to check that they work and tweak them as you want them. And here you can see that it roughly works, but not really, because here I've added a column, and that shows the power to show the number of characters that of that headline. So that shows the power of doing it inside your sheet already, because you can use all the native features of Google Sheets, such as other formulas to count stuff or conditional formatting, for example. Here we're using both the formula and the conditional formatting, such that if it's above the constraint of 30, it will be red. You can see that immediately. So I'll run everything here, run all the rows. I've got, 100 over a little bit over 100. You will see it has a little bit of a counter here. And very shortly, it will fill all the cells. So we call these the bulk AI tools. They have some advantages over formulas. There we go, we're done. The first one is that you get the raw result directly in your cell. So then you can actually modify it yourself. Whereas when you use a formula, you would have to replace your formula with the results if you want to then modify them manually. And the other advantage is that it will scale to 100,000 rows, no problem. It will take a few hours, but even 100,000 rows in a few hours is already super fast. It usually goes around 300 per minute. Okay, so that's that. Yeah, that's the main advantages. The disadvantages, they're a bit less flexible. You cannot drag them and reference things as easily from the sheets. So functions in a way are a bit more advanced. So here you have your the headlines. You can see like most of them are under the 30 character limits, but Google really requires 30 characters, not 31, not 33, just 30 max. So that's okay. We can actually do something else, which is do another run only on those that are too long, okay? And this is where actually functions shine, because so I've prepared here a nested formula where hopefully you can see that properly. I don't know if I can zoom on this. Can you see it or not? It's very small. Oh, there we go. It's a bit bigger. So I've got a formula here, GPT. You are given a Google search ad headline. If it is longer than 30 characters, rewrite it to make it less than 30 characters. So it starts from a pre-made one that's a bit too long, and then it will reduce it. And I'm using an if here, if C4, which is this cell here, is under 30, then just return before the result. And if it is over 30, in this case, it will actually run this function. So this means, as you will see, that it will only run if the headline was too long. So let's go. I will not autofill for now. And there we go. This one was fixed. It's now 28 characters. And I can double click, as Brittany said. And you can see that the ones that were already good, no issue here. They're not redone. We just fetched them. And now we've got a perfect result. So in 2 iterations, I was able to get my headlines. And I think that's really cool. So you can see you can use the bulk tools. And when you want a little bit more flexibility and use native Sheets features or other functions, you can use the GPT functions. I hope that was clear. Is there any? Let me check the chat if there's more questions. Okay, let me open it. Sorry.
We have one question about what models don't require an API.
Oh, yeah, I see it now. All right, so what models do not require an API key? This is very simple. You just open the model switcher here and you just click the model name, and you've got the list here. That's the full list. So we've got a bunch of OpenAI models here. GPT-4o, GPT-4o Mini, GPT 4.1, which was just released, O3 Mini, O1, which is super expensive. I do not recommend it. And we've also got, so interesting is our Sonar, which is made by Perplexity. You guys may know Perplexity, the competitor to Google. And they also make an API, and they call their API model Sonar. And they come in 2, well, actually 4 brands, but we offer Sonar and Sonar Pro without an API key. Again, these are also a bit more expensive since they search, the cost is higher. We've also got Google's Gemini 2.0 Flash, which is a great model, and Claude 3.5 Sonnet, which is also a great model. Okay. The only thing is we've noticed that OpenAI sometimes doesn't have the best models, but has the most reliable API. And since GPT for Sheets for work uses the APIs, it's if you do a lot of volume, you'll see that using OpenAI is a bit less annoying. You have less timeout or errors because OpenAI has really worked a lot on their reliability. If you add your API key, you will have a lot more models. You can find the full list here through that link, which will open a page to our documentation. And here you have the list of models, again, with pricing details and the list of all models with an API key. Okay. We're continuously adding new models and providers as they come. So you can use definitely exactly what you want. Any other question?
Amazing. We have one other question around, is it possible to opt out of model training when using this tool?
Yeah, I mean, it's not only possible, it's, I mean, first of all, we do not train models. And since we use the APIs of the providers, these providers do not, in their API terms, state very clearly that they will not use that data to train models. Okay, it's not the same as the ChatGPT consumer terms, which if you're using Google, will use your data, but when you use the API, it's different. Okay, you can double check this by yourself, but it's different. We also have if that's interesting to you, which it should be, a very thorough security and privacy FAQ, where we detail exactly how we operate, how our product infrastructure works, and answer all the questions you could have on what we do with the data and what we don't do with it, especially. What's important to maybe the most important thing to remember is if you do set your API key, we do not log or store any of your prompts, inputs and outputs, okay? If you do not use an API key, you use our API key, we must keep it for support and legal purposes for a short period of time. So you can easily opt in by setting your API key, okay? Yeah, ISO 27001 is a serious certification. It's harder to get than SOC 2. So, okay, let me show you something else. That's oftentimes, so once people learn how to use it, they will do something like this. Sorry, so reusing Brittany's idea of generating blog titles, I'll just do it with the bulk tool this time. So I'm copy pasting my prompts. Okay, I'll do all the rows. Is it the right column? Yeah, right column. So one thing that people notice is since the prompts are run row by row, is that the AI does not have the context of all the other rows that were run. So what can happen is exactly what you see here. You can have a lot of repetitive well, outputs, at least for the start of the output. You can see it here. It's been ordered by, you see a lot of discover, essential. So a lot of words that AI loves to start with, which can be super annoying. And I'm going to show you a really easy way to fix this. Uh, so I'm going to do almost the same prompt, okay, which is this one. I'm just going to add one constraint, which is that it should start with the letter that you see in column C. Okay, I'm including this letter through this little keyword here. Again, showing it again, I can type it in or insert it this way, first letter, and let me run it. Oops, yeah, wrong column. So column D, let's go. And there you go. With this little simple trick, you've got, well, a lot more variety. And here we just gave a letter. You could start from something that's even more meaningful than just a letter, like a word or an expression or style. You can put a lot of different things. So you can basically seed your prompt with some variety that comes pre-made and get much more diversified results. So I think that's a really cool trick. All right. How are we doing on time, Brittany? Do I have time for more, or what should we do?
We're doing good. We're doing good. I have one quick question. That was amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, like, so in my course, we often talk about like those common AI used words, right? Like delve and unleash and unlock. And are there are the are there ways that you would suggest we prompt things like what you're showing here to exclude some of those keywords, or what is the best way that you would go about doing that?
Yeah, so I mean, you can put this into your prompt.
Yeah.
That will work. If there's a list of words that you definitely do not want to use ever, you can put them into your global custom instructions, and this way it will be saved for later. And by the way, we know this UI is a little bit on the heavy side. It will be improved this year so that it's easier to bring uh, different bits of instructions that you want to keep and share and reuse with your colleagues or clients.
And then
Yeah, so there is a question, temperature. How does adjusting the temperature parameter affects the creativity of outputs? Yeah, great question. So usually lowest values will make your output quite predictable and repetitive, and less creative. If you crank it up to one, it will be much more creative. You can even go a bit over the top. Yeah, you have to try it. You have to experiment with that. But for sure, lowest values is you should use them when you want a predictable or non-creative output, and higher values when you want more creativity. Okay. Maybe if we have a little bit more time, one thing I can show is I'll show it on I'll show it on Excel. So I'll unshare my screen and share again. No, that's one, yeah, that one. All right. Okay, hopefully you can see my screen again. Yeah, I just want to show it on Excel as well, because not everyone is on Google. Some people are on Excel as well, and we do offer the same add-on on Excel. It has some advantage. One of them is you can actually enlarge the sidebar in Excel, which you cannot do in Sheets. So that's it sounds like nothing, but it is really nice property of Excel. So translation, we haven't spoken about translation, but it is an important SEO activity as well in many markets. And one thing you can do, so here I have some reviews of it's customer reviews, okay? And I will translate them to English because they're not all in English and I do not understand all these languages. So again, I'm gonna have to set my header row this time. Yeah, 3. I'm going to choose a reviews row to translate to English, put the results into the English translation column, and I'll just do all rows and hit run. And there you go. Excel also has the property of being faster than Sheets. As you can see, it's already done. So that's nice. And then you can do sentiment analysis on those. So I'll show you the classify. You can do that with the classify tool. You choose the English translation, and then you can just say happy, neutral, unhappy, something like that. Put it into the sentiment analysis column, and there you go. You've got your sentiment analysis, and I've prepared again conditional formatting on this column so that you can immediately see that at a glance, like, are people mostly happy or unhappy? Okay. So again, that's showing the power of doing this in Excel directly, rather than in some other software. And you can even go further. Like if I close this here real quick, I've prepared here a little table that counts the happy, neutral, and unhappy reviews with a little chart. So you're in Excel, you've got all of this done so quickly in just your regular software. Okay. Can also then do the extraction. I can actually do that as well with the extract tool. So again, so for now, I do still have to copy paste this in one by one. So I'm gonna extract whether those reviews talk more about each of these topics. All right, I can do 4 at once. I'm extracting from the reviews, from the English translation would be better, and then put these into columns H through K. Let's go. And there you go. It populates very quickly. So you can see, you can then narrow down to inspect the reviews that are most interesting to you based on the topics that they address, basically. And again, you can easily, well, or maybe not. It seems like it's broken. I had a table prepared for this, but it seems like it's gone. Anyway, you could count them easily in Excel. So yeah, I can go for hours if we want to. I don't know. Let me know, Brittany, if you want, if we can do more.
This is incredible. I love all of these downloads. I'm learning a ton. I know people attending are learning a ton. Joelle has a great question on, will this type of functionality that you just showed ever be available in Google Sheets?
Um, Everything is available in Google Sheets, so I'm or maybe I misunderstood the question. Um, which functionality are we, or
So
maybe
yeah,
Joel just joined? Yeah, but this definitely this add-in is also available in Google Sheets. I mean, let me share my screen again.
You had mentioned that it was in Excel only. Is it just that template you're talking about, or the functionality itself?
because you had showed that you can make it bigger. Things like it.
Oh no, the only thing that's in Excel only is that you can enlarge it.
Oh,
You can,
okay.
yeah, and it's also
Okay.
faster in Excel. But otherwise, they mostly have the same features.
Thank you. That's great.
Yeah, they're all yeah. If I mean, all the demo that was made by Brittany earlier and by me, if you missed it, was done on Google Sheets. So yeah, all of that works in Google Sheets.
Awesome. This is incredible. I'm so excited. I think we have time for one more um like example or something you kind of want to show off or highlight with the tool because this is super valuable.
Yeah, okay. Just before that, there's Nicoletta that has of course, an error. Would be too easy if that was not the case. This can happen, Nicoletta. We have a documentation. I'll post a link right after I'm done with the demo. Okay, it can happen. Sometimes Google Sheets fails to load the add-on correctly, and you have to try another document. Um, Sort of hit or miss. Unfortunately, there's no other way to fix it. Okay, let me just again share one more window, and yeah, this actually I'll do. Am I sharing the right one? No, yes. So let me zoom this. So I'm back to Google Sheets. All right, I'm back to Google Sheets, and on Google Sheets you launch the add-on this way by clicking on extensions, then opening it. So you can, of course, generate content and categorize it as we showed, as Brittany and I showed, but you can also clean your data. It's a really powerful use case, and I can show you a few of those. So for instance, here let's say I've got those companies with a revenue column that's a bit, as you can see, it's a bit of a mess. There are some numbers without units. There's some numbers with a random unit. And let's say that you want to bucket them into those categories here, okay? This is something that would be typically super annoying to do manually, or even if you're good with formulas in Excel, it's gonna be a pain to do it. So you can just go into the custom prompt, or actually no, the classify tool, set your header row to row number 4, and then choose the revenue column. You can copy paste these buckets into the categories here, and then add add a little instruction to say what to do with the numbers that do not have a unit. And here we're going to say that they are billions of US dollar. Okay. And let's try it. It's 3 rows. First, oops, you need to set the results column. There we go. So it's correct. You can see, since we said this was billions, this in billions is 21.6 million, and it categorized it correctly. This is the same number, but written differently. Again, correct. And here, 108, which is, of course, above 100, based on our instruction, it's categorized correctly. So that's great. I can go to all rows. And in a few seconds, it will be all bucketized. Yeah, there we go. As you can see, Sheets is a little bit slower than Excel. Boom, done. So I think that's pretty cool.
That is really, really cool. So one thing that students, and when you first are getting started using this in Google Sheets is the notion of replacing your formulas. Could you just say a couple words about why that's so important after you've calculated, different outputs using a formula, and how that
Yeah, absolutely. This is a great point. So let me just clarify what replacing a formula means first. Let's say, all right, I'll do another example and I'll do it with a formula. So here we have a list of company names and I want to get a clean name without all these suffixes. Okay, so I'll use a GPT function. Let me just copy this. All right, so GPT, I'm copying the prompt. Okay, let me fix it with the quotes. So these will not work inside a formula. You have to reference actual columns for a formula, like Brittany showed you. All right. So I think this will work. I'm selecting the A5 cell. Let's see if it works. All right, seems like it works. Now I can drag it. So a few important things. I'll enlarge this. As you can see, behind, if I double click in the cell, I just double clicked in the cell. So you can see Apple here, but if I double click beneath it, there is this formula, right? So I cannot edit the text by myself. It's not raw text, it's the result of a formula. So what I would have to do to edit the text is to copy and then right click, paste special, values only. And now you can see I've got text. So now I can edit it, okay? That's one thing. The other thing is, and perhaps more importantly, is the way Google Sheets work is you need, they will auto-refresh, auto-recalculate the whole spreadsheet regularly every 4 hours, even if you don't touch it, or if you do something like this, like I'm going to just move this row. Boom, you see, it reloads. That will happen with any formula, but it will be particularly painful with GPT functions since um, they may, if they are relaunched, they may time out. If you have disabled the cache, they will cost you money again, but don't disable the cache so that you don't run into this problem. But basically, it will be super annoying, especially if you've got thousands of them. I really highly recommend not to have thousands of them. If you want to do thousands of rows, use the bulk AI tools. Uh, uh, yeah, replace your formulas, okay? Otherwise, they will be auto-recalculated and it will be painful. I have no other. It's the main warning. The main warning to heed from this call. We say it here in this little warning sign. We say it in many different places. Yeah, and we've got also a button that you can use to do it automatically here. So yeah, great point, Brittany. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a great.
I hope that was clear.
Yes.
Please let me know if not. Yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that you can, and I think you showed this, but the replace formulas in Sheet, the button, I use that all the time too in the sidebar when I've kind of got
Yeah.
functions all over the place or the formulas across.
Actually, yeah, what you can do is you can click this little button here, refresh, and it will start counting. So I'm sorry if it's a bit too small. I don't know how to make it. Yeah,
Oh, there,
maybe you
cool.
can. Yeah. So you can see 6 active formula. Zooming back, if I click it, it will, I think, highlight them. Yeah, it did. It just selected them, and then you can just replace the selection, and it will do it for you. It is I rarely use it this way because I'm actually faster doing it myself in the sheet, but you can do it this way. And now you can see all of it. You can see the text here. All of it has been replaced, and it's real text. No more to refresh. You're safe. Your data, your outputs are safe.
That's super helpful. Cool. Thank you so much, Sam. This has been unbelievable. It is such an honor having you in this webinar and being able to share, your insights and some kind of leveling up options within the tool has been super powerful. So we appreciate you taking the time, and yeah, cannot
Thank you so much for the opportunity, and yeah, it's really amazing. And thank you also for the demo. Your demo is really fire, to be honest. So thank you
Thank
so much,
you. That means a
and
lot.
thank
I
you.
was nervous. I was like,
No,
what's
no, it's really great, really great. And yeah, and thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you so much, Stan. Appreciate it. And we will be sharing all these resources with all of you. I know there was requests for the slides and then also for the sheets that we went over, and you will get an email with all of the resources that we covered. And then lastly, I just want to note that I have another Actionable AI for Marketers course coming up end of June. So if you like this style of learning, if you like learning from some incredible experts, like Stan will have different guest speakers, and it's a fun way to kind of really get into this field and to start using it more in your everyday work, providing value. So absolutely love this. I'm excited to hear what all of you do with what you learned today. I think, a bunch of the things that we shared, you can immediately take back to the office and start using. So please keep me posted. Let me know how you're doing with this and what sort of applications you create to offer up some more value. So thank you all so much for taking the time today. I really appreciate it. And yeah, we will connect with you all soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Thanks everyone. Bye.